This morning, the spotlight is on the dosed and choked murder trial out of the state of Florida. Defendant Herbert Swilley is accused of drugging and then strangling his husband, Tim Smith, to death, and then staging a fake crime scene. Prosecutors say that Swilley moved the body to an apartment that the couple owned where he staged that fake crime scene. Court TV's Julia Janae has a background of this case.
Tim Smith and Herbert Swilley seemed to be a loving couple. They'd been married nearly 8 years when the unthinkable happened. After he didn't show up for work, Smith was found dead in an Ocala, Florida apartment in March of 2023. Police say Smith had been drugged, beaten, and strangled. His sister spoke with local station West News.
My brother's not a small person, or wasn't. He was tall, and he was strong, and I can't imagine what he went through, and it breaks my heart to think of it.
Swilley posted on GoFundMe announcing Smith's funeral and reportedly raising a couple $1,000s on the platform. Swilley also stood to receive more than $300,000 from a life insurance policy on his husband.
Just from the first initial conversation I had with him, he changed his story in that conversation 3 times.
After a months-long investigation, deputies arrested Herbert Swilley, charging him with the murder. Investigators say Swilley drugged Smith and strangled him with a ligature at the home the couple shared, and then drove his body to a secondary apartment the couple had, where investigators say he staged a fake crime scene. According to the arrest warrant, Swilley told police the couple had an open marriage and used that apartment for sex with other people they met on social media. Swilley has pleaded not guilty to the murder of his husband.
All right, here to discuss this unique case, criminal defense attorney and civil attorney John Phillips is still with us, and retired NYPD detective Rob O'Donnell is joining our conversation. Rob, good morning to you. Well, this case, he puts a GoFundMe out there. The defendant, his stance is that he's this grieving husband, and as things start to unravel now, he is sitting at the defendant's table in a murder case. Your take, what stands out on this case to you?
The accusations that there is a staged crime scene here, the changing of the story that he said several times. You know, crime scenes by their very nature are very chaotic and very unpredictable. So you want to look at, is it the perfect crime scene? Why is it the perfect crime scene? How the person reacted upon finding out. And, looking at the body camera footage and seeing some of the statements that he gave, his reaction was not typical in a situation like this. So also you want to look at the forensic of where the body was found in this apartment, if it was staged. Your medical examiner can tell, due to lividity and the fluids in the body settling, was it at this location that this murder started and ended, or was it somewhere else and he was repositioned here? So all these things are going to take into effect for this case.
And they did, yeah, and that's what led to this. They had this apartment, John, apparently this would be their sex apartment when other partners were there, and the thought process from Swilley, according to the state, was, oh, he'll put the body there and then blame it on some mysterious sex partner, and it'll all just go away. But to Rob's point, he didn't do a great job, did he, in terms of the staging of this apartment?
Not before or after. Of course, you're going to give me this question at 8:30 in the morning. I'm in Jacksonville. We're close to Ocala. It's a small community known for horses. Known for being just a good town. And here they have this, as you put it, unusual murder where this homosexual couple had this other house, and now or this apartment, and now we're kind of digging into this apartment, even to the point the investigators are ruling out any other DNA and bringing other people in to say, yeah, you may have known these people, but I have an alibi. And all of the evidence before and after keep pointing back to Mr. Swilley.
Here's a witness, and she was something else on the stand talking about the defendant and his demeanor. She had met one or both of the couple in AA. Take a listen.
One of the things that sticks out in my mind is that he said that early in the relationship, he supported Tim. Tim was a lazy SOB, and he owes me, and I spent all this money, and I bought the house, and I did this, and he owes me.
A witness like that gets your attention, that's for sure, Rob. And apparently it's the other way around. The defendant is the one who didn't have resources. There's a $300,000 life insurance policy in play. When investigating a murder, life insurance is a big deal, right? The monetary potential gain is one of those early factors that is investigated, is it not?
No doubt. I mean, motive here is becoming apparently clear with these witnesses, be it family members or witnesses that knew them, for past statements that he made. The GoFundMe right away, knowing that there would be a $300,000 life insurance policy here. I think any good prosecutor can start to connect the dots that there was indeed a financial motive. There was indeed past domestic tensions between these two individuals. And, the likelihood based on the uncommon statements that he made, based on his partner being murdered and his really callous, nonchalant attitude beforehand, his changing of the stories, all this is going to play into factor.
Here's the landlord talking about he's the landlord of the sex apartment, talking about this case.
He was concerned that Tim was potentially seeing some unsavory, somebody other than him, somebody else, and he said something to the effect that he wasn't always very selective with who he spent time with, and that he was concerned that he had been harmed.
John, he's talking about that Herbert was going around saying, "Oh, I'm so concerned about Tim because he's with these unsavory folks in the apartment." Defendants can do too much sometimes when trying to set the table for investigators. They think that they can manipulate, and what they're doing is just digging, right?
It never fails. Anytime somebody's thinking about open relationships, you got to think of all the entanglements that occur. But at the end of the day, there's three facts that really, really stand out. And that's that, Mr. Smith had 30 times the dosage of like Unisom and Benadryl, the sleep agent. There was substantial damage to his genitals. So it wasn't just a choke. There was some shots taken. And the overall, lead up with fighting and stuff like this, and how it was portrayed, singularly point just to one person, and because it's Ocala, you're going to have a lot of these characters, that could be in a novel, and it's fascinating TV.
Yeah, what is it? This Ocala's piqued my interest. I have to go spend some time there. Sounds like a unique place. Here's the daughter of the defendant. She's 22, and she's being honest. Take a listen.
After Tim died, did your dad ever tell you that he needed more money or the life insurance from Tim?
Yes.
Okay. How many times did he say that?
I feel like quite a few.
Quite a few times? All right. What would he say?
I can't remember exactly. There's just different times. It would be like, we just need to get the life insurance money or something.
All right. Did he ever talk about the mortgage on the house, if he could afford that without the life insurance?
Yes, I don't think he could afford it without it.
Rob, the collateral damage of a crime, of a murder, it's huge. Every single case we cover. And you look at this young woman, her dad is a defendant in this case. She is absolutely going to be scarred. What's going on? Defendants people that commit these things just don't think it through, do they? In terms of, and you've seen it, everyone ends up being a victim on both sides, family-wise, etc., after something like this.
Oh, no doubt. The collateral damage in cases like this, you can see it in this defendant's daughter, who's not only in the midst of this, but has the trauma of herself testifying on the stand before her father. And you could see the focus wasn't about his loved one, wasn't about his partner. It was about money. Everybody he talked to was always about money. And then you go to when he first arrived at the house with the police for a wellness check. I mean, if your loved one, you thought there was something nefarious, he's telling the landlord that he believes something nefarious happened, but he wouldn't force entry into the apartment to check on him to see if he was there. It just goes to show that there's a lot of alignment here, not lining up. And like the attorney said, it's all focusing at this one individual.
And John, to that point, do you expect a guy like Swilley, who at first, puts the GoFundMe out, telling people all about how it concerns, is he a guy that's going to want to take the witness stand? And would you tell him if you're representing him?
I diagnosed that question within 4 words, and that's the reason for the face. I would tell him to stay far away from the witness stand. Prosecutors have a lot against you, and let us muck it up as much as possible because of your statements, because of all the questions. But oftentimes a client's perceived intelligence is their worst enemy, and here, I don't know. He might feel like he can talk his way out of this. I don't think he can.
No, I think it would be a horrible idea if he takes a stand, but he's the kind of guy that maybe is going to demand it as he sees this thing crumbling, because he might need a Hail Mary to pull it off.